From Buffalo to Long Island, this is I-86 After Dark.
Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Buffalo Bob, and welcome to I-86 After Dark. It is October 1st, surprisingly, and the month of September is already behind us. And I just want to say thank you for everybody who is tuning in live to watch this evening. I appreciate that very much. I'm your host, Buffalo Bob, and I have my co-host, Mr. Damian McRutt. Damian, how you doing, brother?
How you doing tonight, Bob? Are you doing good?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, and generally, though, I don't do too well in terms of adaptation as far as the weather, because I've been kind of under the weather lately. But you know what? I think at some point I'll push through. I'll survive. I gave myself some cough medicine about maybe a half an hour before the show. So in a way, I'm just getting by.
Yeah, you could definitely tell it's already, the page has turned to October here in Buffalo already. It was pretty chilly today. Hopefully the snow holds off for maybe another month or so.
Yeah, good luck, buddy.
I know, but we could always hope.
Absolutely. For me, I think it was in the 60s. I want to say 62, 63 earlier
so we
today.
were about the same. Yeah, we were about the same today.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's crazy because, well, it was about the same because didn't you say something to me before the show? You said like, oh, we're a day behind or something like that in terms of the weather.
Yeah, usually you guys are like a day behind. So that's how I know, because my boss is from Queens. So I get to talk to her every day. So
yeah, no.
Shout out to Michelle.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty chilly throughout the week, I must say. Like right now, it's like 61 degrees outside. The coldest it got, or the hottest I should say, was 70. But we made it through, and that's really all that matters. And then from like tomorrow, which is Thursday, to Friday, it's going to be in the mid-60s, like 65, 68 degrees. But I love like the cold weather. I love the fall. So it's like my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, that makes one of us. I love the summer, so fall gets a little bit depressing for me, but it is nice because football's back, baseball's in the playoffs, and hockey's coming back. So there's something to look forward to at least.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, the fall, it's just a nice calming feel, but it's not just hockey for me at this point. It's also football, playoff baseball. I love like when the leaves fall and then Halloween, Thanksgiving going around and just being with family and just, I love like the cozy vibe to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on tonight. So just a heads up for y'all, if you're curious about the Gil Martin interview, we're going to actually publish that separately because we don't want to kill the vibe of the show. So what we're going to do is two options. The first option is that if you really want to see the interview with Gil Martin that we did recently, you can check that out as of right now on Spotify. But if you want to see it on YouTube, just wait about 4 more hours at exactly midnight for October 2nd. And that's when the full episode or the full interview with Gil Martin, the host of Lockdown Islanders, was with us. Great guy all overall. He was very easy to talk to.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the episode myself because I hadn't joined you guys yet when you interviewed him. And Gil and I go back a couple years. I listen to his All Things Islanders podcast that he does every day. It's a great podcast, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So.
Oh, yeah. Are you like a regular listener on Lockdown?
Yep, I'm an everydayer. I've actually wrote into the podcast probably 2 or 3 times.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, I clearly just said it. I had him on the show. So, in a way, I feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like he's just a very nice guy. Like he's not even like an athlete per se. Like when you meet an athlete, it's like, oh my God, I can't fucking believe it. We're going to be meeting with, Jim Kelly or something like that.
Yeah. No, he's just a normal everyday dude. Because I think he ended up friending me on X Twitter back in the day. And we ended up talking through there a couple times, and he does live stream during some of the hockey games throughout the season.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll even say it, spoiler alert, after we did the interview with Gil at the time we recorded it, he said that he would be willing to come back on the show, kind of like this, And he said he would be willing to do like a game day preview for when the Sabres play the Islanders at any point of the season. Hell, he's open to all 3 games.
Well, that would be great. I would love to do that.
Oh, yeah, no, he totally agreed to do it. But I just have to remind him. But, I'll reach out to Gil and we'll work something out in the near future. So for anybody out here who wants to see that interview, it's on at Spotify at 8 p.m. and it'll be on YouTube tonight at 12 a.m. So just a heads up for all of you. So with that being said, we have a lot to get through. So we have to go through 2 games in the NFL, particularly the Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants. Because for those of you who don't know, Damian is a New York Giants fan, as he completely confessed to us last week.
You know what's weird? I just thought of it. I'm a New York Giants fan in Buffalo, and you're a Buffalo Bills fan on Long Island.
No.
It's just crazy.
Right. I mean, it's so fucking backwards in its own right, Oh my God. But yeah, no, man, we're going to get right down to it because I think it's only fair since it's not just all about the Bills. Yeah, we already got some comments. We got 2 actually. One is from Around the Ropes, John Blaine. Hey, good guys. Good luck tonight. Thank you, John. We appreciate that very much, brother. And then the other one is from Jay, my man Neighbors, with a bunch of sad faces.
Oh, we're getting to that.
Oh, my God. That makes my skin crawl just thinking about it. But let's talk about the Giants first. So the New York Giants came out in week 4 going 0-3, and it somehow just magically ate a whole bag of magic beans and propelled the win out of their ass over the Chargers.
Yep, they were actually, I think it came across the screen during the Bills game first, where the Saints were 0-3 and the Bills were 3-0, and the Saints were driving and said that they would be the first team to start 3-0 and beat a team that was, 0-3 and beat a team that's 3-0. Of course, they didn't do it. Buffalo prevailed. But then we go to the next game, and the Giants actually did it. They beat a 3-0 team after starting the season 0-3. They're the first team to ever do so.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, this was the first time the Giants beat the Chargers at MetLife since in 25 years. Maybe
it was
a little
forever. More. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I want to read the stats between Justin Herbert and Jackson Dart, supposedly. Justin Herbert went 23 for 41 for 203 yards. He had a completion rating of 56.1, and he averaged about 4.95 yards a pass. And then he also had 1 tutty and 2 INTs and 2 sacks. Jesus Christ, that fucking Chargers offensive line is so abysmal. They're so abysmal that the Giants offensive line almost looks like the Dynasty Patriots.
I would still go and say that the Giants' offensive line is still an Achilles heel for them. It's so bad. And even with Dart back there, I just see shadows of Joe Burrow in his first year with the Bengals, and he got that knee injury. And I'm just hoping that does not happen to Dart.
See, with that, though, Joe Burrow's career ended as soon as he put on that Bengals uniform. I mean, that's the honest to God truth. I mean, the Bengals are cheap asses. They've never really established a really good offensive line in front of their teams within all those years. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? From Ken Anderson to Boomer Esiason to I'm going to say David Klingler. Yeah, that's how far back I'm going. David fucking Klingler, one of the biggest busts in the NFL. But I'm
glad you're able to pull those names out of your ass because I can only think of Esiason.
Oh, yeah, Boomer Esiason was one, obviously. And it's funny because his daughter, as you know, is married to Matt Martin. And Boomer is a Ranger fan, and he has to sit there every day and be like, fuck, this guy's going to have babies with my daughter.
And hopefully to become Islander fans.
Yep, unfortunately. Imagine being the father of the daughter that your son-in-law is going to be in play. Oh, he's a former Islander, but, oh, God damn it, that's going to be rough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, my first wife was a Braves fan, and I'm a Mets, so I can kind of relate.
Oh, damn, really?
Oh, yeah.
It's funny
But I got a
because
question for you, actually.
sure, go ahead.
How did you feel about Dable's kiss at the end to Dart?
See, I think he only did that just because it was like a mercy thing because of the fact that if he didn't win that game, he was probably going to get fired, and that's kind of how I look at it.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't turn this season around, he's most likely gone at the end of the season.
Well, they
This
have a
is
chance.
his last hope.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got to play the Saints on Sunday.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
But
I just saw the Saints go up against the Bills, so I don't know if I'm giving the Giants too much hope in this game.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about the Bills in a little bit. But yeah, so as far as Justin Herbert goes, Jackson Dart went 13 for 20 for 111 yards in total. He had a 65 completion rating, and he averaged about 5.55 passer rating, and he had one tutty. And we got a bunch of comments already. So here we go. This one is from Jay. He said, watching the game, you could tell the Giants wanted to play for Dart with a new identity to them. I like the vibe this past Sunday from the beginning to end.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree. I mean, it's always nice when you get a youth interjection into a team. It gives you a little bit of hope. There was really no hope with Russell Wilson. He's a has-been.
Oh God, Russell Wilson, man, what the fuck happened to him? It's like the symbol of hope, like Superman. And the next thing you know, he goes to the Giants and he does absolutely nothing. And he just throws it and says, fuck it, I'm wide open at like 4th and 2, 4th and 3 in the red zone. Like, who are you throwing it to?
I don't know. He had that great game against Dallas, and then that throw at the end just destroyed it. It was like just ruined the entire game.
And you wonder why Steelers fans didn't like Russ that much.
Or Broncos.
Yeah, true. So we actually have another one. This one comes from Joe Marie 1082. She says, that kiss was a thanks for saving my ass today. Spot on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spot on. You are not wrong about that. The guy's job was
you think he used a little bit of tongue or no tongue, or what do you think?
He just goes in like, ah. He just had to use his tongue. That's when he franked the fucker. Oh God!
But the other good news in that game was, my man Sexy Dexy too with that interception. Big man almost got in for the touchdown.
How did that fat tub of lard get an INT?
I have no idea, but I was like, come on, go. Like 1 yard line, they stopped him at.
Yeah, I think the last fat man that I could think of that got an INT similar to that, if I'm not mistaken, was Sam Adams about 20 years ago when he was on the Bills, and he picked off Tom Brady. And that was like one of the 3 losses Brady ever suffered. And I remember saying to myself as a young kid, because my favorite player back then was Drew Bledsoe, and I remember saying, go, you fat tubby, go. I just cared about Bledsoe at that time, and I just remember just fucking celebrating. I mean, Deion Dawkins, I think, was like the second one that came after that, and then Dan Skipper, if I'm not mistaken, was another one for the Lions that did that, where he caught a touchdown pass from Goff a year ago or whatever that was.
Well, it's amazing when you're watching these big guys run, and you're just like, look how slow they are, and they're probably about 20 times faster than we are.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. I mean, it's just funny to me because of the fact that the Giants knew that they wanted Jackson Dart and they're so goddamn bad. And it's gotten to a point where you're thinking, all right, it's the Chargers. Anything can happen. But I think it's even funnier that the Chargers for the first 3 weeks were playing like an actual team, beating the Chiefs, beating the Broncos, and then beating the living shit out of their younger brother in the Raiders. And I'm saying to myself, oh God, here we go. There's the Chargers. And, they did good things and they're still in position in the AFC West, but it's that one small loss against the Giants that I think is going to really kill the momentum that they currently have right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, The Giants had a good game plan. They executed. Unfortunately, it wasn't all roses because of Neighbors going out for the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me, how do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's a huge weapon for Dart. And with him out, unfortunately, it's got to be next man up. But, I mean, I really would have liked to have seen some kind of chemistry between those two and see what we had going forward. And now we got to wait a whole nother year to see that.
Well, I was going to ask you, who the fuck is he throwing to? I mean, Neighbors is out of the picture at this point. And then,
Wandell Robinson.
Oh, God. Is it Darius Slayton there, too?
Yeah, he's still there.
Jesus Christ. It's almost like that guy is ancient. He's almost as old as the dinosaurs.
It falls off quite a bit after Neighbors, so.
Yeah, no. I can see why people feel the way they do. But, no, man. In all seriousness, no. I do hope that Malik Neighbors has a speedy recovery. He's a hell of an athlete. And good thing, too, that he's young because he can easily jump right back. But the only thing I worry about is this going to destroy his development? You know what I mean?
It could. I hope it doesn't, but, it could.
That turf is an abomination. I'm just going to say right now. MetLife Stadium, I've been there a handful of times. It is a big piece of shit. I don't understand why anybody in their right mind would think, yeah, I love MetLife Stadium. It's such a wonderful place. And then everyone gets hurt.
I never heard that myself.
Oh, God. You've never been down there?
I have. I've been there before. I'm looking forward to the new Buffalo Bills Stadium. Going up all the time.
Yeah, no, I can't wait either. But it just sucks that we have to win another year. But you know what? I think when it's all said and done, it's going to look great. I can't wait to see what the Bills do with that one.
Well, enough about my team. How about your team? The only New York team that I got to hear about all the time.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with that game. They are the only New York team in the damn state, and you know it. Yeah.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, no, I want you to occasion me on this. Yeah, but as far as the Bills did the worst thing possible to any Super Bowl contender. I don't care if you're the Eagles. I don't care if you're the Chargers. I don't even care if you're the Chiefs. You don't play down to the competition. And the Bills clearly did on Sunday. They said, well, we might kill them, but let's Debbie down on it. Make it closer than it actually should be. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And there's like penalties here and all kinds of miscommunications, missed tackles. Josh Allen wasn't in the best game, but I will say is that he did enough to get them over the hump. But woo, God Almighty! I wish that they had that game over again. I wish that they went the route they did against the Jets, where they went to MetLife, they beat the shit out of their younger brother, and they bitch slapped him with a rusty belt and leave. That was what I was hoping for. And then I read a stat during the game, and the stat was before Sunday. The stat was the Buffalo Bills have not beaten the New Orleans Saints in Buffalo since 1983. Yeah.
Oh.
42
I would have never thought that.
Years. Yeah,
would have
42
never thought that.
Years.
Wow. Who was even on that Saints team?
Yeah. What, at that time when all that happened?
That was a long time ago.
I mean, shit. I wasn't even alive for half of those games. I mean, yeah, I was born for like the 2000s, like with the drought. I was born in like obviously 2016 with Drew Brees' final years. No, those teams were horrific for the Bills. Yeah. They were horrible. And then now the script is even reversed at that point. And I'm saying to myself, I wish that they blew out the Saints. The Saints are bad, but I think the one thing the Bills did not prepare for was the fact that the Saints were a very fast-speeding team. They have a lot of speed, and that completely threw them off guard. And I felt that, in some aspect, it was going to be a quote-unquote trap game, but I never felt that way about, the Saints. I mean, they're respectable, but I just feel that Buffalo should have blown them out. Not by the way it looks, because
I mean, it's a long season. I mean, you can't win them all. I mean, Buffalo's going to try
well,
to win
yeah,
them all this year, and they have a chance. But like I've told you off the air, I'm like, I have a feeling that they're going to lose at least one game to either the Jets, the Dolphins, or the Patriots for some odd reason. They're just going to drop one game to one of those opponents.
See, for me, I don't look at it that way. I think they're going to lose to a team like Tampa Bay because the Bucs always play, very high tempo against the Bills. They always find a way to do that. I mean, you have Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, who's currently injured, and Emeka Ibuka. I will say right now, that guy is a fucking
Looks like
stud.
the real deal there.
Oh,
How do they keep getting all these receivers? It's like they just have like a pipeline.
Yeah, this is a big thing I've always wanted to know about the Bucs, and we have a new comment coming in. This one is from Lawrence G. He said the Bills have a lot of trouble with a running quarterback. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean,
I think they have a lot of trouble stopping the run, period. I think that's their biggest issue this season.
I mean, to me, I think they did I wouldn't say perfectly, but I think they did fine on their own with containing Alvin Kamara. He didn't really go far. I mean, they had that other guy, Miller. I forget his first name. But, he was running around like it was Marshawn Lynch. And I'm saying, you sons of bitches, how could you fucking not tackle a second running
Or Derrick Henry when he plays the Bills.
Oh, God. Or Marshawn Lynch against the Saints in the playoffs. I mean, it took – I don't know what the flying fuck was happening at that time. I was so pissed. I was like, why are you not tackling this guy? And then they left way too much time on the clock. Saints O-line did what they could.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about Cook's play this year since he signed a big contract in the offseason?
Honestly, I love what he's done. He bitched up a storm, yes, and I've addressed it in the past that if he was going to continue to be a bitch throughout the season, you might as well just trade him. And I'm glad that the Bills got it done before it got worse. And
I thought the same thing, but he's kind of lived up to that contract so far, and then some.
Oh, yeah, totally. And for the record, he's on my fantasy team at my job. And let me tell you, that guy gets me out of trouble, especially with fantasy. So I have Josh Allen, I have Zay Flowers, Devontae Smith, Kyron Williams, and James Cook. That's my starting five right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see how Cook could save you there.
Yep. I always call him – everybody calls him Jimbo or the chef. I just call him Cookie, like a chocolate chip cookie. And I'm like, run, Cookie, run, whenever I go to a Bills game on the road. And by the way, I should mention this real quick. Next Friday, I believe it's the 10th, my wife and I are traveling for Road to 32, and I will be recording that episode for you guys. Don't you worry. Road to 32 is starting next week on Monday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons in Week 6. And let me tell you, I am very, very excited about going because – I don't ever go to the South. And the closest I've been to the South was North Carolina and Tennessee and Florida. That's about it. I haven't been to North Carolina in like 4 years. So
the thing that's nice is Bills Mafia loves to travel, and they travel well.
Yes, they do. And the fact that my wife and I go to 3 games a year is an absolute privilege. But you know what? We do it for content purposes, and we do it because, well, we're Bills fans. So I think in its own right, I think it's funny that how I do all these plannings for so much of the time, and I'm just thinking, what else could I possibly do? And then we go to like different zoos and museums or whatever we can get our hands on. And in my case, what I like to do is, I'm going to reveal this too, is I'm going to the Carolina Panthers game in Week 8, a week after Week 7 bye, when the Bills play the Panthers. And we're seeing some family friends down there anyway, but the Bills play the Panthers that weekend, and my wife and I are going. I'm going to a Carolina Hurricanes game on I want to say the 28th. It's my last full night in Raleigh, seeing them play the Carolina Hurricanes play Vegas. So I just want to throw that out there real quick.
There you go. And I just wanted to talk about a couple things in that game too.
Yeah,
the Bills game. Anyway, the Shakir run, after the catch, just amazing. Oh, yeah. How he was able to spin out at 2 or 3 tackles before he went all the way down for the TD.
It's funny. I look at Shakir and I say to myself, he is one slippery little bastard because I got to tell you, he's exactly the perfect slot receiver. He's exactly what Cole Beasley was when he was with the Bills. And I say to myself, he reminds me of Beasley, because of how short he is. But I would say he's almost in a way better than Cole Beasley. And Cole Beasley played with Dak and he played with Josh.
Yep.
So I'm that's just my philosophy on that, but that's what I think.
I would say the second play I loved in that game was Josh Allen's 27-yard run towards the end of the game. It kind of sealed the game. I've been saying it since he came into the league. I feel like the Bills don't want to run him that much because they're afraid of injury to him, and rightfully so. But I feel like Allen needs to get in the game by running the ball. He loves the contact. He likes to run. I feel once he does that, it makes him a better quarterback, a better passer. He gets in the game quicker that way.
See, I don't have an issue with him running the ball. I just don't want him to be like a running quarterback because the narrative was, and I'll never forget this, is that I remember when he first came into the league, because he had that inaccuracy problem that everyone pointed out at the time. And everyone said, he's a great runner, but he can't throw. And I'm saying to myself, well, how do you expect him to develop? I mean, you're not going to just develop and become Lamar Jackson. Now, granted, Lamar has gotten better over time, but I will advise that Allen is a better passer than Lamar Jackson. Even
he still is. He still is.
Well,
I just feel like you gotta get Allen just likes. I know here in Buffalo they call it like put on his cape, put on his superhero cape. And when he does those plays, I don't know, it just gets him in the game. Just becomes a better quarterback when he does it.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that because there are people who do refer to that. But it's funny because my wife and I were talking about this, and we both said that, we don't want him running all the time because, like you said before, it's about, preventing injury, which I agree to an extent, but I think he only does this when he's angry. Because if you saw his body language on Sunday against the Saints, even in the highlights, even if you didn't watch the game, you could see the body language that Josh was presenting, and that dude was pissed. And
so you like the Hulk version of Josh Allen. Maybe not Superman, but Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Where he gets angry and then he's in the game.
Well, except he doesn't turn green. So there's one side of that. But yes, I do. But Josh only does that when he's angry. Like if they're up by like 5 or 6 and he's saying, this is not good enough, I have to do something. My biggest, problem with the team as a whole is the team around him is good, but by themselves, without Josh Allen, I feel like they'd be below average. And people point out, Josh Allen, saves them, carries them every game. I'm like, I didn't realize James Cook or Keon Coleman just randomly came out of nowhere.
Hey, the quarterback position is a premier position in all of sports for a reason. So your quarterback usually does carry your team.
Yeah, usually. I mean, people always find a way to nitpick quarterbacks. Like they say, Josh Allen, great passer, great runner, but he has to put the team on his back. Jalen Hurts, people say, he's a game manager. Mahomes, he's only doing this because, he has Andy Reid. There's always an excuse for everybody.
Well, you got the Brady Belichick controversy all those years. But speaking of quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, like I said, fraud, baby. Fraud. They finally lost their first game. He was terrible. His fantasy stats have gone down probably like 3 or 4 points every week since week 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I called you out on it. I'm like, didn't you draft him? And you said, no.
Oh, but I was able to pick up Justin Fields. So guess who's starting this week?
Justin Fields?
Yeah, over Daniel Jones.
You're too much, man. But
so I think we have like one more thing in football you wanted to talk about.
yes, actually two. But
two. Okay.
yeah, two. So the first one is Tyreek Hill. His career is pretty much over. Yeah,
I think it was starting to come to an end before the injury.
Really, you think so?
I mean, he's only getting chances because he's really good at football.
Well, yeah.
As soon as he starts slowing down, those chances are going to start disappearing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but I think I do agree that he is starting to slow down, but I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, he's out of it entirely as far as the system. I mean, he wanted to go to Miami to prove that it was him that got Mahomes those Super Bowls, not the other way around.
Yeah, and that hasn't worked out very well for him.
No, it hasn't. I mean, and he also has this arrogance in him that says, "Yeah, man, we beat the Bills all the time." No, you fucking don't. You the last time the Bills beat the Dolphins was like 3 years ago, and that was like during hurricane season. And it's like every time, since that game, the Bills have just made them their bitch at that point. I love shitting on the Dolphins because their fans have no room. Their fans have like no room to talk because they say, "Oh, we're better than you. We're coming for the AFC East." Didn't they blow the AFC East a few years ago when they were up by like 3 games or some shit like that?
But they had that undefeated season in the 70s.
Yeah, 5 decades ago.
That's all they hold on to.
They're like the Cowboys. You might as well just go in Nat Geo.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. But entirely, though, like from Miami Dolphins' perspective, this could be a good thing for Jalen Waddle. If you have Jalen Waddle on your fantasy team, he's probably going to get a lot more targets than he would have when Tyreek was there. Because the whole purpose was Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill were the 2 fastest wide receivers at the time Tyreek was traded. And next thing you know, Tyreek goes to Miami. The first year they were good. They made the playoffs. They lost to the Bills, and then they just went downhill from there. And at this point, I think Tyreek is having buyer's remorse in terms of his time in Miami.
Well, I mean, what happened to Jalen Waddle as soon as Tyreek Hill got there? His catches disappeared, touchdowns disappeared. I mean, it was like the Bills when they had Stephon Diggs, because they had to feed him all the time. Now, what's the slogan that the Bills use all the time? Everybody eats.
Yeah.
Everybody on the team eats.
Everybody eats unless you're a diva wide receiver who cries like a bitch and says, "Give me the ball," and doesn't even come to perform in the playoffs. Even by that standpoint, Stephon Diggs was not even usable or let alone serviceable after that little feud they had against the Bengals a few years ago. Ever since that game, Steph didn't want to be there. And I'm glad he's gone now. But the fact that he's going back to Buffalo as a Patriot on Sunday Night Football, I'm not sure. I mean, I think I'm not going to sit here and say he's washed up, but I am going to say that he's definitely nowhere near what he was in his prime.
Well, the Bills are already running away with the division. I mean, the Patriots are in second place at 2-2.
Yeah.
Probably soon to be 2-3 after this weekend.
Well, I mean, I probably would feel that way too if I beat the living shit out of the Panthers. I'm just throwing that out there, brother. That's all I'm saying. But as far as like what to look forward to, as you probably could tell, I'm wearing the NFL Rivals jersey. For those of you who are listening on Spotify, it is that beautiful, gorgeous new NFL Rivals jersey, and I got the diamond one, which has like the sparkle on it. This thing is a thing of beauty. I will tell you that right now. It feels almost similar to what the players wear on the field, but it's obviously not exactly that. But the price was a bitch, I'll say that. But I am looking forward to the game on Sunday.
Yeah, me too. If I could stay up for the whole thing.
Yeah. What about you? What are you looking forward to for the Giants on Sunday?
They can keep it close. We'll see. I mean, right now they're 2-point underdog going into the game. I don't see them covering that. So I just want to see them keep it close. I mean, after watching the Saints play the Bills this week, they didn't look too bad. So
I don't know. I think that was just that one game where it's like, well, there's luck, but who knows at that point. So, in general, though, I am looking forward to the game on Sunday. I'm looking forward to like the season in general. I think it's safe to say that the Giants are trying to do their best to not be the biggest embarrassment in the NFC East. And the Bills, I think it's safe to say that they're going to win the AFC East again.
I think they definitely will. Do you think they'll cover the 8 points they're getting?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, that's a lot. 8 points is a lot.
I will say this. If the Bills win 10 games before the Christmas break, I mean, and that's not even including like losses. Like if they lose to like Tampa Bay or something like that. Because here's how I look at the philosophy. The Bills would right now, let's just knock on wood. They win the next like 4 or 5 games, right? They play the Patriots, they play the Falcons on Monday night, and they play the Panthers. So that right there is their entire schedule for the month of October. And then from there on out, if I'm not mistaken, they play the Dolphins again, but in Miami. So right there, they got a decent schedule to go at least maybe 8-0, maybe 9-0.
No, they got a very favorable schedule.
I think it's destined. I truly think they're destined at that point to have that favoritism. But you know what? Fuck it. Whatever. Wins are wins. No matter how ugly they are. That's how I solidify it. You know?
Gotcha.
So with that being said, so we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And I will tell you right now that we have a brand new sponsor of the show, and it is Super Fry in Merrick, New York. And they are home to the famous Zini, which is basically a chicken cutlet, mozzarella cheese, which is melted with bacon, with Roscoe sauce, which is really goddamn sweet if you haven't been there yet. And it's on a panini bread. So if you're interested, you know, take a quick riff at Super Fry and give them a call, or give them a call, or we'll put up a QR code on the screen. You guys can check it out. So with that being said, Damien and I will take a quick minute break, and we'll be back for the second half of the show. See you in a bit.
See ya.
This episode of I-86 After Dark is brought to you by Super Fry, right here in Merrick, New York. Super Fry is serving up homemade soup, legendary hand-cut fries, and wraps that always hit the spot. And if you're hungry for something next level, try the Zazzini, stacked with crispy bacon, melted mozzarella cheese, juicy chicken cutlet, and their signature Roscoe dressing. One bite and you'll know why it's a local favorite. So when you're craving real flavor, head to Super Fry in Merrick, New York. Big taste, handcrafted, and always fresh. To place your order, call 516-379-SOUP, or just scan the QR code on your screen and get Super Fry fast. Welcome back to I-86 After Dark, everybody. And once again, Damien and I just took a quick little break. As you just saw, our first sponsor of the year outside of Simply the Best is Super Fry. So once again, if you have not been to Super Fry, if you're in Long Island, check them out. They are absolutely delicious. Tell them I-86 After Dark sent you. So with that being said, Super Fry, thank you again for the sponsor. So with that being said, Mr. McRutt, what do you think of the goddamn fucking Mets with their goddamn collapse?
I got a little bit to say about it.
Tell me. Go ahead.
I'm rocking the Mets hat still. I wore it for most of the day today. Not going to give up on them, even though, I really want to. But, I was never a fan of them going out and signing Soto in the offseason. I would have rather paid 3, maybe even 4 players that kind of money to bring in. They definitely needed pitching. They never got pitching the whole entire season until they brought up some of the younger kids. Some were ready, like McLean. Some were not, like Tong. But, here we are again, another epic collapse for the Mets. They are now the second team with a over $300 million payroll to miss the playoffs. And you want to know who that other team is? The 2023 Mets.
Oh, my God. This is a fucking joke.
They did it twice. It's like, I can't watch it. I need therapy after this season.
You
He
need
did.
therapy.
It was like an epic collapse for it was like a slow burn for like months. You were just waiting for the other shoe to fall off. And of course, it fell off on the last day of the season against the Marlins.
Yeah. What's it called? You know what the Mets remind me of? They remind me of the medieval torture method with the rat. If you put like a bucket on top of somebody's chest and you put a rat in there, and then you take a blowtorch and you blow the top, and the rat gets desperate because of hot it is, and it burns through the person's stomach. That's the Mets in a nutshell.
They'll eventually kill you.
Yeah, they literally claw their way out of this situation. And I'm saying to myself, holy shit, this team fucking sucks. How is it that I understand that Cohen spends money because, let's be honest, Cohen will spend money most definitively over, let's say, like Fred Wilpon. Because Fred Wilpon.
No, Fred Coupon.
Jeff and Fred Wilpon can go fuck themselves. The Cohen family, great people. I met Alex in April. She's a sweetheart. But as far as the team as a whole, getting Soto, I understand that was like their consolation prize for not getting Ohtani. But Soto's a great player. I'm not taking anything.
Oh no, he had a great season. But is he the answer?
No. And the fact that the Mets put $765 million on the guy, that is a lot of money. And God forbid he starts to decline. I mean, he's only 26. I get it. But it's like,
well, maybe he's 26. We actually don't know his real age.
No. But
they're saying he could be older.
He could very well be. But all I'm saying is that it is a goddamn joke what the Mets have put themselves into. It's a joke. It's embarrassing. And the fact that we're sitting here tonight during the show really speaks volumes about how pathetic this abortion of a franchise is. Like, how is it that Carlos Mendoza still has a job? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Like I said, you already hinted at it. Like, it's not Cohen's ability to spend money. He spent so much money in the 4 years that he's owned the Mets. But I'd like to see maybe some of that money spent on staffing. Such as a qualified GM, a qualified manager, a hitting coach, a pitching coach, anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the coaches on the Mets staff with Carlos Mendoza, I think he's retiring. And he was with like Terry Collins. He was with Mickey Callaway. He was with a bunch of coaches. And I'm saying to myself, what the fuck is going on with this team? People have been asking for Eric Chavez to be fired since like July. Even when they went on those like first 2 losing streaks, when it was like 7 games in a row. Listen, you and me both know that when the Mets go on a 7-game, 8-game, 9-game losing streak after the All-Star break, you know damn well something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Something is definitely wrong.
Something.
And now we're here to suffer and watch the Yankees in the playoffs again. Shout out to my boy Larry, because he loves the Yankees and stuff, so he let me have it about the Mets. I don't think they're going to get past Boston, but we'll see.
They would be very lucky to get past the Red Sox.
I don't think they are. But as soon as the Mets, choked it away, my timeline filled up with all the annoying Yankee fans, dunking on the Mets over and over and over again. They can't get past the fact that Soto came over to the Mets and did not choose them. And I hate to tell them, get ready for more, because your owner, Hal Steinbrenner, is cheap as fuck. He's not spending the money that other people did in the past, including his father.
So wait, hold on. So if Hal Steinbrenner is cheap, for the sake of argument, if Hal Steinbrenner is cheap, how did they get Chas Chisholm? How did they get Giancarlo?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
But you got to realize that the Yankees are, as far as revenue, the top team in baseball.
Yes.
And I believe, if I have my facts correct, Hal Steinbrenner only roughly spends about 50% of his revenue on payroll, 50? As opposed to the Mets owner spending 90% of what he's bringing in. So that's what I'm just telling Yankee fans. Get used to the Mets signing some free agents over to Yankees. That Soto's not going to be the one and only one.
Probably not. But let me ask you this now. Because of this giant clusterfuck over the ending of a season, what do you think the odds are of Pete Alonso coming back?
Well, now I'll contradict myself and say that it's probably very good because I could see him going over to the Yankees. It would tarnish his legacy as a Met. But I don't know. I'm not even sure players really care about legacy as much anymore.
Well, I mean, if you're a Yankee fan who are so used to getting all the top-notch players, they threw a bitch fit once Soto went to the Mets, and then it's like, they're not accustomed to it. They're not
accustomed to it. It was like the Rangers and the Islanders. We know how that is.
Oh yeah, the Rangers.
If the Islanders say they got Panarin over the Rangers that time,
I remember
we would have been hearing about it forever.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember when Panarin was a free agent, and it was reported he was going to sign with the Islanders, and then the signing bonus he got from the Rangers pushed this decision. And if I'm not mistaken, the same thing happened with Soto. He was getting more from the Mets than the Yankees. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Yankees offered him, I think, 16 years for like $760 million, and the Mets offered him 15. So one less year than what he actually got from the Yankees.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not delusional. You and I are Mets fans, so we love the Mets. But if we had no allegiance and we were becoming a Major League Baseball player and the Mets and the Yankees came calling, I'd probably choose the Yankees. I'd want to play for that historical franchise.
Probably, but the thing is with the Yankees is that they have, to me, the Yankees are like McDonald's. They basically, you can't go anywhere in the United States or anywhere on the globe really without not stopping and saying, wow, look, a McDonald's. I want a Big Mac. Let me go get myself a pack or something like that. They're like the Yankees. You never hear anything else that's like bad about them. You hear about the rings. You hear about the legends. You hear about all that stuff. And it's like all that is being sharded on because of the fact that the Steinbrenner legacy is in limbo right now. I mean, granted, the Mets are the little brother in the market because they're always trying to get the headlines from the Yankees. And if I'm not mistaken, when our co-host John Blaine, his father, came on the show last week, he said that that the Mets are always fighting the Yankees about who gets the front cover of the paper. And it's an interesting point.
we only had the front cover from maybe the mid to the late 80s. That was probably about the only time we did.
Like with what? When they won the World Series?
Yes. But there was another comment that came up, if you want to read it.
Yeah.
Apparently the Yankees just took the lead.
Fuck! God damn it. Oh, my God. God damn it, Red Sox. Thankfully, it's only game 2. And thankfully, according to... Let me actually turn the game on real quick. Okay, fuck. Wow, okay.
Baseball's dead to me now. It's dead to me.
You chose to be a Mets fan, so don't even give me that shit.
No.
I'm just saying, don't give me that shit. Fuck, man. I mean, I hate being a Mets fan. Why do they do this every year? It is so embarrassing. Francisco Alvarez got hurt. Fucking Pete Alonso's opting out of his deal, and he's betting on himself to, go wherever he wants.
Well, I'm not saying that Alonso won't be back. It's just I think it's unlikely at this point.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he's also demanding the money. Like he's wanting like a 6-year deal for like $300 million or something. No, some ludicrous number like that. Now, granted, it's not Juan Soto numbers, but
he's also older, and he's going to be on the decline in a couple years. So you sign a 6-year contract. Maybe you're getting 3 good years, 4.
Yeah, I hear you, but maybe getting rid of Alonso is probably a blessing in disguise.
I think, yes, it'll hurt, but I have to agree with you. Yeah, I think it'll probably be a blessing in disguise down the road.
Yeah, I agree with you. But you know what? Because because we're talking about the Mets, because somehow Carlo Mendoza, who right now does not deserve a job, because of this epic shithole of a collapse that he put the Mets through. But the biggest complaint that I've seen from Mets fans is that he holds on to his pitchers for a little too long, and most of them don't get past the fifth inning, and most of them do come out, and it's gone to a point where if you put someone in the sixth inning, then everything's gonna shit the fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Mendoza fan. I thought he could have been let go after this season. I feel more of the blame needs to be on Stearns, David Stearns, the GM. I mean, what did he do at the trade deadline?
Not really much. I mean,
he brought in Cedric Mullins. Horrible.
Yeah.
Definitely going to let that guy walk. He didn't even look like he wanted to be on the Mets.
No.
The
other thing I want to mention is like the pitchers that they got. Tyler Rogers.
Yeah, Tyler Rogers, yeah.
Ryan Helsley. Jesus Christ, what happened to him?
I don't know. And he wanted to be on the Mets so bad. And they went out and got him, and he was just hot garbage for the rest of the season. Rogers had moments, but even him, he wasn't great at times either.
Yeah, the biggest mistake I think that Cohen made last winter was not addressing the pitchers because they were so inept about Juan Soto. So now, and if I'm not mistaken, Damien, isn't Edwin Diaz a free agent too?
Yep.
Oh my God. I hate life. I hate it here.
That's a tough one though too, because has he been one of the more dominant closers the last couple of years? Yes, but what's the shelf life on a closer? I mean, they don't go as long. He's been one of the top closers for many years now.
Oh,
he's got to be declining soon.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is that didn't he like get Tommy John or something happened with him in the International League a few years ago where he sat out all of that team?
Yeah, that was something with his knee, I believe.
Yeah, when he was celebrating and it's like, my knee, and he had to sit out. And that was also the second collapse the Mets had prior to this year. Holy fuck, I can't believe we're even talking about this because the Mets are a joke.
Well, I could count more collapses than I have fingers at this point.
You bring up a good point. But it's true, though. You're not wrong. I mean, the Mets have shit the bed so many times throughout our lives. I can't trust them enough to simply say, shit, we can't even get through the first round without collapsing. If you told me back in June when the Mets were in first place in the AL East and they stayed there was no doubt in my mind the Mets were going to be a top contender in the World Series. They were heavy favorites behind the Dodgers for 90% of the season, and then they just fell off the map.
Well, I remember my kids getting really excited at the beginning of the season, and I was like, temper your expectations because they've only been a Mets fan for like a couple years. I was like, this is the way it goes. This is the way it goes. You knew it was coming.
Yeah, I'm sure your kids were probably like, Daddy, you never told us that they collapsed like this.
I didn't want them going over to the dark side.
You brought them there. It could have been
I guess there's another
else.
comment here, too.
Oh, what do we got? Soto will be traded before the end of his massive contract.
I agree with that. I actually do agree with that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that because the only reason why I don't think this would work is mainly because that contract he signed, he's a Met for life.
I mean, it's a huge contract, but as we've seen in the NHL this week, salaries just keep going up and up and up. So maybe 5 years from now, that contract might not even be in the top 10.
What, with Soto?
I'm just talking about top 10 contracts in the league.
Ooh, I don't know, man. That's a tough.
It goes up a lot, though, every single year.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing. It's just, like, I get where you're coming from, but, like, the big thing is with baseball is there is no salary cap. So until they figure that out, there's no way around it. And players are going to bitch about it, and they're going to say, well, it was fine when the Yankees were getting all these players in the past for like 30 years, but when the Mets get one player, it changes everything.
Yeah. Well, it's never going to happen with salary cap in baseball because of the Players Association. It's the strongest players association in all of sports. And until they can break that, it's probably not going to happen.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they're really demanding for a salary cap.
But it needs to happen for parity and for the sport because, I mean, going into the season, what do you have? 10 teams that maybe have a shot, 5 that are realistic of winning it all?
Like the Dodgers are realistic. Baseball is such a weird sport because it's like all the teams that went to the playoffs last year are not even in it. Like the Rangers are not in it. The Orioles are not in it. And then it's replaced with teams like the Mariners. And it's like the Phillies. That's no surprise. The Brewers is another one. And because they expanded the bracket for the playoffs now, it changes the game. It changes the game for a lot of people. But the fact that the league itself is going on strike after next season, that's abysmal, especially with the salary cap. It's like, how do you maintain that? And you were just saying that the Players Association is the biggest in all the sports. So how are they going to convince them that, they need a salary cap in baseball? And for a guy like Juan Soto, guys like Manny Machado, guys like Bryce Harper, getting all these big contracts, getting all that, it's going to have to attribute to the salary of those teams.
Yep.
But at the same time, you need a salary cap because of the idea that teams like the Twins, the Nationals, the Pirates, the White Sox,
the Miami Marlins.
The Marlins, that's another example. Those teams have been so hot garbage for the last 5-10 years.
But somehow we still couldn't beat them on the last day of the season.
I don't understand that. I don't get it. It's the same shit that happens every year with the Mets.
It's always Miami too. They're the team
really.
that always seems to knock us out of the playoffs at the end of the year.
Didn't they do that in like 2007 or something?
I think this was the third time they did it.
Yeah, because I remember they did it many, many years ago. And this was, I think, after the 2006 run to the NLCS when they lost to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I think
I'm exhausted talking about the Mets. So do you want to go on to our baseball preview playoffs?
Yes, because I understand you are having an aneurysm in your head right now.
Yeah. And I need to stay alive. I got to work in the morning.
Yep. So with that being said, let's go over the. Sorry, guys.
There we go.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to do. There we go. This is what I wanted to do. And so this is the bracket for the playoffs as we speak. So let's start with the National League. What do you think, Mr. McBride?
All right. Well, which one do you want to start with?
I'm going to start with the Padres and the Cubs.
Padres and the Cubs. I still like the Padres in this series. I mean, the Cubs have been out of the postseason for a couple years now. The Padres have been perennial for a little bit here now. I think they'll pull through. So I like the Padres in this series.
Fair enough. I agree with you. I'm going to take the Padres. And then we have the Dodgers and the Reds. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
I think it is too. I mean, a buddy of mine's a huge Reds fan, so he could thank us for getting the Reds in. But realistically, they don't really have a shot against the Dodgers here. They were lucky to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. And then over in the American League, we have the Tigers and the Guardians.
I'll go with the Indians.
Fair enough. Indians works too. I'm probably going to go Cleveland also.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Red Sox and Yankees.
I think the Red Sox are going to pull this one out, but we'll see.
All right. Yeah, that's, still got a long way to go. But then we have.
So did we agree on every single team in the first round?
Yep. So I'm thinking Padres and Brewers. What do you think?
Padres and Brewers. I think the Padres will pull this off.
Padres? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to say the Padres also. I don't know why. They're a little more experienced than Milwaukee. And nope, that's not it. And it's over. The Red Sox just lost. Fuck. There's that.
The series is tied.
Oh, man. Okay. But, yeah, so we both have the Padres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. And then we have the Dodgers and the Phillies.
It's going to be a close series, I think. But I have a feeling the Dodgers are just going to edge out the Phillies in this one.
You think the Dodgers are going to edge them out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I'm going to take the Phillies. Only just because I think that Philly is much, much younger than the Dodgers. I mean,
yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost equally the same, but obviously the Dodgers have more on their shelf than Philly does, but it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you said the Padres and the Dodgers,
yeah, I got
right?
the Padres and the Dodgers going to the NLCS.
Yep.
And then I have a feel I have the Padres going to the World Series.
Okay. And then I said Phillies and Padres. I'm going to say the Phillies make it to the World Series. I think that Philly...
Blasphemy.
That's just my honest to God opinion, but we'll see what happens. And then we actually have a couple of comments. Yeah, here we go. Oh, wait. We already read that one. This is one. Yankees won, series tied. Yep. Thanks, Lawrence. We appreciate that guy. Fucking A. Anyway, what did I say before? The Phillies and the Padres, right?
Yeah, Phillies and Padres. And you said you had the Phillies going to the World Series?
Yeah, I had the Phillies going for the National League. And then in the American League, we both said Cleveland and Seattle.
Yeah, Cleveland, Seattle. I'm going to go with the upstart Seattle.
I agree. I'm going with Seattle here, too. And then we both said Boston.
Yeah, Boston and Toronto. And I definitely got Toronto in this series because I have Toronto going to the World Series.
Oh, so you have the Blue Jays beating the Mariners?
Yes.
Interesting. I was going to say, I think the Red Sox knock out the Blue Jays and the Mariners go to the World Series. So I think it's going to be Seattle and Philadelphia in the World Series. And I hate saying it, but I think the Phillies are going to win the series in 6 games.
Oh, God. I hope not. I got the Blue Jays and the Padres in the World Series, and I'm gonna say the Blue Jays in 7.
Jesus Christ! But yeah, we'll see what happens, man, because there's a lot to go into that. But regarding the whole situation, thank you for the prediction, though, Damien. That brings my heart out.
I mean, what do I know?
Just average dudes, It's all good, brother, But yeah, just one last thing before we get into hockey. Just a quick reminder that the Gil Martin interview is up on Spotify as of this recording. It's been an hour almost now. And for YouTube viewers, it's going to be on at midnight. So stay tuned for that. If you don't have Spotify, be patient. It will be out there. But in the process of all this, let's get down to our final segment of the show, hockey, since we are right around the corner from the best game on ice.
I'm looking forward to the season.
Yep. So let's start off with the Minnesota Wild because they've been in the news lately for possibly.
Oh, really? What did they do? Oh,
you didn't hear?
No.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, wait, yeah, that's smart. I could tell you're busting my balls. But yeah, so for those who haven't heard, Kirill Kaprizov is now the highest paid player in the NHL. And he's getting an 8-year deal worth $136 million from the Minnesota Wild. That's almost $17 million per year. for the next 8 years.
Mm-hmm. And what is McDavid going to ask for?
Probably 18, I would think. I mean, listen.
I don't know. He could be getting near 20.
He deserves it. He's the best player on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. Krill to Thrill is a great player, but how many times has he played 82 games in a season?
Once. Just once. For
$17 million per season.
Yeah. Do you see the comments that Billy Garrett made at that press conference?
Mm-hmm.
And someone asked him, "Oh, are you excited, or is Kirill excited?" And then he says, "You better fucking be."
Yeah, better be.
It's
like Lou always said. He's like, too much term and too much money.
Well, yeah, hockey's a very different sport when it comes to contracts like this. But thankfully, though, the CBA just got signed. So if anybody out there who still is a free agent, like Connor McDavid or Jack Eichel, Anze Kopitar is probably going to retire. Al Silvestri is probably going to retire after this year. Those guys, if they were 10 years younger, they probably would have demanded the moon for that kind of contract.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing
I could see a lot of players demanding it because, like I said, Krill is a great player, but I wouldn't even put him in my top 10.
I would probably say Kirill Kaprizov, as good as he is, I think he's a top 20 player in this league.
Yeah, top 20, yeah.
I think that's
I'll agree
fair,
with you on
though.
that.
But I will say that he, in a way, deserves the money because if you look at the all-time stats leader for the Minnesota Wild, Kirill Kaprizov is, if I'm not mistaken, is in the top 3 in this category.
Well, I just feel bad for the Minnesota Wild because you can't lose a player like that. Like we lost. I'm not going to say his name, the Snake, years back. You just can't lose a player like that. So they were forced to pay the ransom. And I'm sure he would have went someplace else and signed for less. But because he was staying with Minnesota, they got to pay that extra premium.
Yeah. And what's even scarier about his deal is that his contract eats up 20% of the cap for the Minnesota Wild.
Insane.
Yeah. It's almost like as if the Wild learned absolutely nothing than what they've done prior to that.
Yeah, I know. He's going to have to play defense, offense, and goalie for Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then, Parise and Suter, those are yesteryear players. Fuck those guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like they're still paying them because Craig Leopold's entitlement to this team. Yeah, fuck that guy. We're not even going to bother with those two. Let's just give all the money to Kirill. It's all good. He'll stay in Mini for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking average.
I mean, I'm happy for Minnesota fans, so I hope they're excited.
Absolutely. And again, he deserves that money. So there's no question about it in terms of what he can bring to the table. But I wouldn't be surprised if McDavid comes out and says, I'm going to get more money than Kirill. The NHL, in terms of like money, I don't know about you, but for me, I think that the NHL with star players, they're starting to turn into NFL type players in terms of money. Like they're not making $100 million. They're not making what NFL players make, but it's getting to that point.
Yeah, I think the problem with the two sports, football and hockey, is you had a player like Tom Brady that can take less money because he's going to make it up in endorsements. And that's just not there in hockey. Maybe in Canada to a degree, but they're just not going to make up that money in endorsements. So they got to get it when they can get it.
Yeah, maybe in America they won't do it, but if they were to go to like a Canadian market, you'd probably get the extra money. I mean, I have seen, American players in Canadian commercials, like Matthew Tkachuk's in a handful of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if half of his endorsements came from a Canadian dollar. I wouldn't be that surprised. Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, 2 extra guys right there. They're making their endorsements from like McDonald's. They're making their endorsements from Bauer. They're making their endorsements from all these big branded companies. So there's your endorsement right there as far as like the Canadian markets go. Like you're not going to watch MSG or watch the Islanders or the Sabres in this case, and you're going to simply say, oh, look, there's a random Buffalo Sabres commercial with Tage Thompson. Oh, look, there's a local deal from Burger King. You're not going to see that.
No, definitely not.
Well, that's kind of my point. It's just astronomical. You can't beat that at that point. But you know what, though? The cap is going up, and that's very healthy for the league because they weren't even making any money 20 years ago. Now, because of the speed, because of the pace, because of the quote-unquote golden age, the NHL's really stockpiling on cash, which is nuts. It's crazy. But speaking of piling up on cash, before we get to the next topic, let's talk about Montreal because apparently Habs fans are having buyer's remorse already about the purchase of Noah Dobson.
Well, they can. Well, actually, not. That's far from where I'm sitting right now. I have a nice Noah Dobson rookie card signed by him because I loved him when he was drafted by the Islanders. He had that one good season, and even during that good season, he was not very good defensively. Very soft in front of the net, gets pushed around a lot. Sometimes doesn't even look like he wants to be there.
Yeah.
And now he's Montreal's problem, and they're going to see the same things come out eventually.
Absolutely. We actually have a comment here. This one's from Jay. He says, what do you guys think of the Luke Hughes contract? I think in terms of the length of the deal, I think it's good. But in terms of the money, I'm surprised that Luke Hughes did not get $10 million.
Well, what did he get? Like 9 per, I think.
Yeah, he got a 7x9 deal with the Devils.
I don't know. The Devils always seem to luck out. No matter who's the GM there, they seem to get really good contracts there.
Usually, that's usually how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't work out for the Islanders usually, though.
No, I mean, you could blame
the Sabres for that matter.
Yeah, well, the Sabres are in a bit of an ordeal themselves. They just don't want to spend. The Islanders, had Lou for a little bit, and he fucked up the cap for them. So there's that, at least for the time being. Some flexibility about it. But regarding Noah Dobson, though, there is speculation from Habs fans. And the talk of the town is the media is already speculating that they're already complaining about his compete level, his lack of grit, and lack of intensity and defensive liabilities. And it's the fucking preseason.
Well, that's what was so funny because he literally deleted his ex-Twitter account because Islander fans were being critical of him. And then he forces his way out of Long Island to go to what is arguably maybe Toronto, but Montreal, hockey capital of North America, where the media is going to be all over him like they are here with the Mets and the Yankees or the Knicks for that matter. It's like there's no place to hide in Montreal. Yeah. So, yeah, it's preseason already, and it's only going to get worse for him. I feel kind of bad for him, but I don't.
No, I mean, he kind of did this to himself. Maybe if he actually stayed humble and he said, I'll take less to stay with the team and not demanded $11 million for what was projected at the time of the draft, maybe he wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah, but he only did that because he wanted out of Long Island. And the rumor was that he wanted to go to Montreal because apparently the Islanders had a better trade package with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they ended up having to settle for. And I shouldn't say settle because I think they got a very good package from Montreal, but it was less than what Columbus was offering. But he kind of forced the Islanders' hand, so he had to go there.
Well, I was going to ask you, what did Columbus offer? Do you remember?
No, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I know for a fact they got a similar deal from St. Louis, where St. Louis was going to offer Jordan Kyrou and 2 first-round picks for Noah Dobson. And that might sound silly, but that was the speculation at that time. But I am happy, though, with the outcome of the trade so far because it gave the Islanders more leverage in their farm system for the next 2 or 3 years.
For sure. And Heinemann's pretty solid, the player they got in the deal from Montreal.
I mean, I have no doubt the Canadians are going to be good, but 2 first rounders for a below average defenseman. That's
I don't know, but he had 70 points one season.
I was going to say that's a very steep price to pay for a guy like Dobson.
You know, right-handed shot defensemen don't grow on trees everywhere.
No, they don't, and you're correct about that. But the issue is it's also depending on the system. Like, yeah, you're right. Righties don't come around often in the NHL, but if you need one, you know, it's there for the taking, but they are very expensive. And that's not a good thing to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So apparently Jack Hughes was at the Yankees game tonight.
Yeah, I saw that. And I think the Chicago Blackhawks were at the Cubs game tonight. Chris Chelios was there too. So
really?
Yeah, that was something I saw, was that Chris Chelios was at the Blackhawks game. And if I'm not mistaken, Connor Bedard was there. Frank Nazar was there. There was a couple of Blackhawks players that were there. I think Nick Foligno was there. So, yeah, no, there is no doubt that, you know, Dobson got paid what he wanted, but in my opinion, I would have never have given that money. So I am glad, though, that Darsh, you know, traded him while he could.
Yeah. I mean, he couldn't handle the Islanders market. I don't know how he's going to handle Montreal. I don't understand how he's going to do it.
You would have to be very lucky to be playing in a market like Long Island. I mean, most people would bitch him on about leaving Buffalo. Yeah. I mean, how often do we hear that?
Yeah.
It's very
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, most people would rather not play at Buffalo than Long Island, but whatever. But speaking of buyer's remorse, I wouldn't say buyer's remorse, but Utah has a new secondary logo. Did you happen to see it?
I did.
And we're going to show it to the audience for those who have not seen it yet. Let me get my ugly face out of the way for a little bit. So for those of anybody in the audience that have not seen this, the Utah Mammoth have unveiled a secondary logo, which is a full-length body of a mammoth, which looks awesome. But my only question is, what the fuck do you do with it?
I don't know. I mean, we've talked off the air before. I really wanted Utah to be the Yetis. I know Yeti got involved, the cooler company, and for the rights. I don't know why they couldn't get a partnership together. Some more Yetis.
I agree. That would have been an awesome endorsement deal. But to further prove that this is going to be a secondary logo, we have another image. There is a bucket, a popcorn bucket, if you will. There was a preseason game in Boise, Idaho, with the Kings and the Mammoth. And the Mammoth were pretty much unveiling their full-length uniform in a preseason game in Idaho. And this popcorn bucket was leaked to the public. And you can see on the left of the new Mammoth logo. So this is on this, which I think is pretty interesting. What do you think?
I mean, it looks all right. It's clean. I think all these logos nowadays go with so much of like a minimalistic approach, and I'd rather see a little more detail to the Mammoth, but I don't know. This is what everybody's going with now.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would have been happy if they were called the Utah Yeti, but it's whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We'll only see them twice a year, so.
Yeah, true. And I'm actually debating, funny enough, about going to the game on New Year's Day against Utah at UBS.
Nice.
I am thinking about it. So we'll see. So we got a couple of more things to go through real quick, and then we will wrap up for the night. And that is one of the topics that was brought up recently was the Buffalo Sabres have unveiled to the public that they have extended the lease to the KeyBank Center until 2031. Damon, your thoughts, brother?
I mean, it's good for me. Running the Buffalo New York Islanders group over here, we always get meetups together to go down to the arena. The arena generates a lot of revenue for downtown. Last year, they put in a new roof on the stadium, as well as a new video board, which was very nice when I went there. They got the screens that when you sit down in the 100s, you could see underneath the scoreboard now that shows replays. And I guess with this new lease, they're going to be putting in a new like audio component to the arena now, as well as some renovations. It was built in the 90s. It's still a nice arena. It definitely needs some upgrades. But I think signing on for another lease, that's good for Buffalo.
Yeah, because Tom was telling me off the air a few months ago, or it might have been on the air, like before we rebranded, he was saying, well, the Sabres were, looking at a new arena, but the city doesn't want to take it on anymore.
Well, yeah, the city does want to separate because we apparently in Buffalo we have a new county comptroller, and I guess they owe some money to the county that they haven't paid. So they're going through that back and forth. So, but it's not. This doesn't only affect the Sabres; it also affects the Buffalo Bandits that have now won 3 championships in a row for the indoor lacrosse. Probably the top selling lacrosse team in North America. So they got a really rabid fan base. So it affects both those teams.
Absolutely. And we actually got a couple more comments, and they're both from Jay. The Ice Age logo in Utah, yikes. And then he also said the Utah logo is Ice Age. Yeah, I could see where that comes from. I could see that. Mm-hmm. But you know what? At the end of the day, hopefully the Sabres can work their deal out with the stadium because they need to get out of KeyBank Center. I've been there a handful of times. I've been there in 2019. Mm-hmm. When I went to see Tom, he invited me to go to a game against the Islanders, and I was there. And the Islanders destroyed them. I was happy about that. And then I went back again for a visit because I went to the Bills-Cowboys game. The Sabres were playing the Blue Jackets. You remember that abysmal Buffalo game from, I think it was a couple Christmases ago? It was against Columbus, and they got blown out like 9-3 or something like that, 9-4. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was there.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know. Congratulations. That was one of the shittiest games in the history of the Buffalo Sabres. How fucking convenient. Yeah, really. Woo! Perfect timing. Oh, God. So, yeah, no, I hope things work out for the Sabres. But there is one last topic I want to talk about tonight before we get us out of here. And then next week is going to be hopefully, you and me again, obviously. And then hopefully we hear from Tom Bujek eventually. I have spoken to Tom. He's doing okay. He should be back in a couple of weeks. And, John Blaine is off for tonight because of Yom Kippur. But he should be back next Wednesday. So we'll play it out by ear, see how it goes. And then we'll go from there. So the last topic I want to talk about is the exposure of the Carolina Hurricanes fan base, because a group of Hurricanes fans, in quote, are threatening to cancel their season tickets amid the rumor that the team had interest in some of the Hockey Canada 5, in this case, of the players that were acquitted for the sexual assault case last summer or this past summer. And one fan even stated that we're done with the Canes if that so happens to happen. And if you're trying to wonder who this is, they're referring to Carter Hart and Michael McLeod.
I mean, Carolina's had goaltending situation for a while, issues.
Yeah.
They could definitely use somebody like Carter Hart. I mean, technically they were acquitted. I do believe in second chances, possibly sometimes even third chances, but definitely second chances. And they, like I said, they were acquitted. So if that's what my team needed, I would take a flyer on that.
Probably, but as of tonight, it is being said that Carter Hart is not going to sign with the Hurricanes.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the rumor. I think that rumor came out 45 minutes before we got on the air. Mm. And the rumor is that Vegas is going to sign him.
Why, though? Don't they have Aiden Hill still?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes. They do. And if I'm also not mistaken, they also have Akira Schmidt. And by the way, I have the Vegas Golden Knight game on. It's preseason against the Avalanche. It's a primetime game. Whoopie-doo on NHL Network. But, yeah, no, I'm looking at it and I'm like, why do you need Carter Hart? What's the purpose? Why do you need him?
They don't, and then you're just causing controversy. Like,
really?
if I was the Hurricanes, I would definitely take a flag because they need goaltending desperately.
Oh yeah, and here it is right here, and it's being said that the Vegas Golden Knights, from multiple sources, the Vegas Golden Knights are almost certain, quote, to be Carter Hart's new NHL home, according to Chris Johnston. Hart received the interest from multiple NHL teams, but is drawn to the opportunity to play for a contender in a situation where he would likely end up sharing the crease with Adin Hill. You were correct. And along with 4 other acquitted players for the Hockey Canada sexual assault trial, are eligible to return or sign contracts as of today and have been registered as of October 15th. That is being cleared to play by December 1st.
Okay. Well, good luck, Vegas. I don't see why they would want to do that.
It doesn't make any sense. I really don't understand. Do you think, like, and let me ask you this. Do you think that, and this might sound controversial, so forgive me. Do you think that the Vegas Golden Knights are becoming, like, hockey's equivalent of the Dallas Cowboys? Anybody that commits some sort of felony or criminal charge, the Cowboys want you. In this case, with the Knights.
I mean, it could be. It's Sin City, so.
True. I mean, it's pretty impressive that they've been this competitive for so long, and they've only been in the league not even 10 years. And they already have a Stanley Cup, and yet there's like, fuck it, we could just be the Cowboys of hockey. We could just go out and get whoever the hell we want.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're onto something there.
Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. But we'll see. But one final thing I wanted to address real quick, and it's very brief, is that hockey starts next Tuesday, brother. What do you think?
Let's see. The Islanders, what are they? They're about 500 in the preseason. I don't really put too much stock in the preseason.
Me neither.
I mean, the Sabres are 3-1. The Islanders are about 500. Either record's really not going to matter. I like the Islanders to be in the thick of things towards the end of the season, possibly for a playoff spot or just missing. Really depends on a lot of issues. I know they've had issues with the backup goaltender. Doesn't look like Varlamov's going to be ready for the season or possibly never coming back. We have no idea. And they're going with David Rittich as the backup right now, and he's up and down. And I don't really want to see Sorokin get burnt out again playing 60-plus games, because that's not going to be beneficial to anybody.
Yeah, I agree with you. But it's funny because Marcus Hogberg got put on waivers. So there's your winner right there. David Rittich got the backup job to Sorokin.
Yeah. And Hogberg was good last year until he injured his wrist. And then I don't know what happened after that.
Yeah, a lot of people I've seen, make comments saying, oh, the Islanders are still having backup goaltending problems. It's not Sorokin. It's, the backups. But it's the fact that they're still having problems even to this day. That should really speak volume. That's how. And
of course, with the Sabres, I mean, everything's running through Dahlin. So let's see how Dahlin does again this year. If Tage Thompson can come back again and score 40, we'll see. And they also have goaltending issues.
Yeah.
So
that's for the most part. But you know what? So for anybody that wants to watch the games, the first 3 games are on October 7th. That's a Tuesday, and they're all on ESPN. And I believe the first game is at 6 p.m. I think between Florida and Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah, I'll double check just to be sure. But I'm pretty positive that October 7th is Chicago and Florida. So let me take a look real quick. Yep, there are 3 games. Yep, as I was correct. The Panthers play the Blackhawks at 5 o'clock on ESPN. And then the Penguins play the Rangers at 8. And then the Avalanche play the Kings at 10:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
Triple header.
Yep. And then the Islanders play on Thursday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that's going to be fun.
Yep. Does any Buffalo Islander fans in Buffalo please come out to our first bar meetup of the season at Buffalo Old, and that's going to be on Saturday, October 27th or 25th. Saturday, October 25th, and that's at the 12:30 game against the Flyers. So we're going to be at Buffalo Old Brewing.
I would probably put my tits and all over that if I lived in Buffalo.
Like I said, we got a solid 10 guys. Hopefully we can get a couple more newbies this year. We don't bite hard, so
yeah,
come on out.
Absolutely. So anything else you want to say, Damon, before we wrap up?
No, I'm good. So I think
good.
we covered quite a bit in New York sports here.
Absolutely. So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this live broadcast at I-86 After Dark. And like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, the interview with Gil Martin is available on Spotify, and it will be available later at midnight on October 2nd on YouTube. So if you're interested in listening to that on YouTube, just be aware of that. And then on Spotify, go take a look. Go listen right now. So with that being said, I'm your host, Buffalo Bob. This is my partner, Damien Mickrut, and we'll see you guys later. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Have a good night.